All right, guys, welcome to another Masters in Motion podcast. I'm Jason Grubb. I'm here with Rick Stevenson, and it's semifinals week. We are here. This episode is powered by Thirdzy, your go-to for game-changing sleep recovery. Imagine hitting your workouts harder and waking up feeling unstoppable. That's what Thirdzy's PM Recovery Collagen does for me. It's like pre-workout, but for your sleep, fueling your body's active recovery processes without any melatonin or sedatives. Just one scoop before bed supports deeper, more restorative sleep so you can crush your fitness goals. Ready to experience the best rest and recovery? Visit Thirdzy.com and transform your nights into recovery power hours. Thirdzy, because sleep is the ultimate recovery tool. That's THIRDZY.com. Save 20% with code JASONZZZ. Let's get into the show. Rick, how are you doing?
Doing well. It's been building up to this. It's almost like Christmas a little bit. I know you and I were texting the last couple of days, like, can we just get these things released? You know, let's just see what it is. The anticipation is killing not only us, but a lot of people out there. So we have them.
It was a tough morning. It was a tough morning of I had a lot of work to do. So that's great. I busted out all that work. Then all of a sudden it's 1:45 and people are saying, hey, I can see him. 1:45 my time. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's jump into these things. And you've actually, in the sense of Christmas morning, you've already unwrapped one of the packages.
I've unwrapped one of the packages.
Which we'll talk about when we get to that. We'll talk about the workout that you completed. I have yet to complete a workout. I've completed them about 10 times in my head, just thinking about the strategy and all that, but I have not obviously tested any of these workouts. So I am looking and inviting all the data that anyone wants to share with me on the feedback on these workouts. And then I'll just turn around and share it if I have permission. But okay, so with all that said, Rick, I think there's a couple things we want to get through tonight in our podcast and then get you to bed and get me to bed so that we can perform at our best this weekend. One, we want to review each one of the workouts, maybe touch on a couple of specific pieces, things to watch out for in the workouts. And then we want to talk about our thoughts about the workouts, maybe our feelings, our thoughts about them, things we love, maybe some things we thought were missing, but we'll get to some opinion piece after that.
Yes,
and then
that's fair.
Then off to bed.
Okay. Yeah. And say good luck to everybody because
that's right.
You know, it's certainly a smaller field than quarterfinals, but there are plenty of people that will be participating. And even to some degree, I bet you we might catch somebody listening to this that might be in a class and their coach is just going to throw one of these up this weekend. I wouldn't be shocked if the main site has these as the workouts of the day as well. I haven't looked at my emails yet for tomorrow's, but these will be sprinkled in and around the community for sure because they're doable. They're accessible. That's the thing. I mean, they're scalable, but they're doable. It's not some crazy convoluted floor plans or anything like that.
Nope, just hard work. Just in for the hard work. Well, Rick,
event
let's
one.
do this. We'll ping pong back and forth. Why don't you talk about workout one?
Okay, event one. For time, a 50-calorie row, 9 snatches at weight 1, a 50-calorie row, 6 snatches at weight 2, a 50-calorie row, and 3 snatches at weight 3. Time cap's 20 minutes, so that gives you some idea of what HQ might think to work. Let's see. We'll focus on, there's really 3 main divisions here that are 3 main weights that we'll talk about. The younger masters and some of the older teens, 165, 195, and 225. That's beefy, in my opinion.
Agreed.
45 to 49. You're all by yourself. Isn't that cute? 145, 165, and 185. And then for the ladies, I should not forget that 95, 115, and 125. And for the 50 to 54, we've got 135, 155, 175. So you can tell the scaling that has gone on. And as we have learned, certainly Bob and Joe, these are their contributions with maybe a little fine tuning and tweaking from HQ, but the scaling, we'll get to some of the scaling thoughts, but so far so good. And then the 55s, 55 and up, 115, 135, 155, ending at a 155 bar, 75, 95, 105 for the ladies. That's a lot of numbers to process, but the idea is the weights are successively higher, the reps go down, 20-minute time cap. And then there's a whole lot of rules. So read the rules, as we always say.
Certainly. Your thoughts on this effort? Obviously, this is not the workout you did, but
No.
you will, if we ping pong back and forth, you will be talking about the workout you did a little bit.
Right.
But your thoughts on this one? When you first read it, it was the first one I think we all got to see before, as the website was updating, and all of a sudden workout one was out there, and I remember thinking, well, I'll just share for me. Initially, I was like, oh man, these weights are heavy, and then I looked at my division. I was like, oh, okay, I do like the appropriate scaling for age divisions. I think there might be a gap in there that, 44-year-olds are snatching the same weight as 35-year-olds. There may be room for one more division, the 40 to 44, maybe finishing at 225.
Yeah, I was going to say, you might almost you could have gotten away with even one more scaling option. Yeah, almost every division gets their own weights. We'll see what the numbers say, because it's a very different workout. Like for you with your weights, this is much faster than what I would say the majority of the field of the 35 to 39s are going to do, just because that 225
Very
bar.
agree. And it was similar with a workout that had snatches in it last year, where the younger athletes through 44, I call them younger, had that heavier barbell for snatches, and we had 185 pounds. I think you had 155 last year. Is that correct?
Well, the sprint piece, the ladder, was 2 years ago. Last year, I had 185 for the end.
Oh, you had 185 last year
for that ugly event one.
That's right. Okay. Well, with all that said, that is workout one. I think, in your opinion, is it a rowing workout? Is it a barbell workout? What is this workout? If you're categorizing,
I'm going to use this word a couple of times, only because I haven't done them yet. I think this is an efficiency workout. The row, as we've learned on a couple of these, you're not going to win it by trying to go as fast as you can to get 50 cals done, because it will impact your snatches. But you can't loaf on the row and rip through the snatches, because I think you have to be consistent and steady. I believe.
Totally agree. Yeah, totally agree. And I see that my internet had stopped, and now we're back.
Yeah.
So
I thought that was mine.
I don't know why. No, it was mine. And we're just going to leave it right in here. This is a real thing we do. We have real internet that actually happens here. I agree with you. I think that for most, except for maybe that age group where the weight is quite heavy, I think for most, this is a sustainable workout. What is the row pace that you can sustain for 50 calories 3 times? Or if you were thinking, I'm going to do a 150 calorie row, what would my pace be for that?
Right.
And then just going to hop off and do some snatches here and there. That first set, totally doable. Second set, now we're getting spicy. Third set,
you better be ready.
Now we got to really think. Yeah, we got to think on these a lot. So I've heard a couple of times come in from different athletes, and this is definitely one of those workouts I believe is going to be in that 10 to 15 minute time range. Just is kind of that's the time span that we're covering on this one. It's not one that you're going to have friend long afterwards. You're not going to lay on the floor for days after this one, because you can't row so fast and then do 3 heavy snatches and then pass out. It's just not that type of workout. You have to finish that third snatch thinking like, okay, I had just enough to do that.
Right.
And then I'm done.
Go when you're ready.
And then recovery.
And then recovery. Yeah. I think, consistency. I'll tell you what, next week when there's some recap, we might have a very different word. I might get a colorful word for this one too. So
yeah, I mean, these are cute. It's all cute in theory. Okay. So event number 2 is a 20-minute AMRAP. And this is the third workout in successive qualifiers with this time range. In the open, we had a 20-minute AMRAP.
Right.
In quarterfinals, we had a 20-minute time cap that most people hit. And then now we're back to a 20-minute AMRAP. So I would say that we are thoroughly tested in this time domain in this year's qualification. Yeah. So we've got this 50 double unders, 10 chest to bar pull-ups, 10 box jumps to a tall box, 10 strict handstand push-ups. For the 60-plus divisions, there are some modifications on the pull-ups and the handstand push-ups in the size of the box, but still challenging across the board for this workout. I think this is also one of those workouts that is just testing your sustainability. Can you sustain a pace round 1 through round 5, 6, 7, however many rounds you get?
Yep.
And can round 1 match round 6? Let's see. They have 15 rounds on the scorecard.
15 rounds.
Listen, you get through 15 rounds, I'll give away my Tesla. Okay, you can have my Tesla if you get 15 rounds.
You 35-year-old X Games athletes.
Dude,
okay, go for that.
There's no way.
12 to 15.
No way.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible. But it's a generous scorecard.
There will be some that can get through 10 rounds of this, can hold a 2-minute pace per round. But that's going to require perfection on double unders, unbroken everything else. One of my thoughts on this one, and I've been talking strategy, is certainly this idea that whatever you think the back half of the workout is going to feel like here, on your rounds, like, would you break up your strict handstand push-ups on the latter half of this workout? If so, you're probably going to want to break it up on the first half of this workout. It's one of those where you really want to think about what is pacing going to look like later, because that's probably what I should start with in order to maintain a consistent pace through an entire workout. This is certainly one where if people go out super duper duper hot, and I don't want to get into too much strategy on this, but we know this. If you win the first 3 rounds of this workout, you are not winning the entire workout.
Correct. Yep.
So, a couple of notes. Did you pick up a couple of things in there? Like, one, got to step down off the boxes. Last year we had tall box ups. You could jump down. Stepping down is that's challenging for short guys like us.
That is tough. That you feel it in your hips off a 30-inch, stepping backwards off a 30-inch box. So jumping.
Can I set boxes next to it? So the question would be, jump up on the box, step to a box, step down. You know what I mean? Like stair step down. Wouldn't that be great? I'm sure you can't do that. But that would be.
Hey, this is real time here. We are delivering information for you. And I'm saying that tongue in cheek here. Note on here, common no rep, a secondary box may not be used as a step down. Bingo.
Oh, man.
Well, you thought about it. Okay. Yeah.
Someone else thought about it. You can't touch it with your hands.
Yep. So I'll tell you, because all these things that you're listing, 10 box jumps in the categories from age 16 to 54 off a 30-inch box are going to take a little longer than you think. You are not going to rip through those 10 that fast because of the awkwardness, I think, of stepping down. And as we've all learned from quarterfinals, how about full extension, stand up, don't rush it. You're not going to win. If you do 10 box jumps really fast, you don't get a prize. You might get a penalty. So I'm not saying everybody go slow, but make the reps count.
Look at the picture in the score sheet. Look at how she's standing tall. Her head is forward.
Look at her
chin.
You
have to make it look just like that. Make it look just like that. It's simple. And on box jumps, it's easy to look at the box. I know that when I land on a box, I'm glancing down at it, especially a 30-inch box, so that I don't kill myself. But it is definitely one of those situations. Stand on that box, stand up, find a target on the wall, put a piece of tape over on the wall, see it as you stand up, squeeze your butt at the top. If you squeeze your butt, your hips are open. Like, you can emphasize that by, literally accentuating it for 1,000th of a second to make it super clear.
Correct.
Also, you can't jump up on a corner.
Angle your camera so that they can see full extension. And I didn't mean to cut you off. You're right. No corners.
Oh,
as we all learned. No corners.
You make a really good point. Just to pause on the entire conversation, think about who your judge is. Your judge is standing there, and that's really fun to have a registered judge, which is required. They're there to no rep you. They're there to count your reps. So be specific with your judge. Like, look, if I don't get the rep, here's what a rep looks like. If I don't hit this, give me a no rep. Make that super clear to your judge. But your ultimate judge is on the other side of your iPhone, is on the other side of a tiny sensor. So make that camera angle as clear as day. Are you locking out your ring muscle ups? Are you standing up tall on the box? Are you fully open and extended on a snatch? On your power cleans, are your elbows through? Like, there are angles to make that super easy. And there's angles that will make that hard to judge. And man, you don't want to be on the wrong side of that. And, hopefully they watch our videos this time which I'm sure they will, but make their job easy with the right camera angle. Don't make it hard. Okay.
Right. Yep.
Speech done.
Yeah, no, good speech. And this for me is going to be sustained effort. We know what 20 minutes feels like. Minutes 15 to 20 are going to be terrible. Easy reps, easy points, I should say, are going to be the 50 double unders. So if you're getting close and I don't know, minute 19 is just ticked over and you're still on the box jumps, you want to finish the box jumps, you want to manage your way through those strict handstand push-ups, and you want to complete another set of 50 double unders because that is a lot of points. I don't think there's no tie break for this because the sheer number of reps. Look at the scorecard. Totally. There's going to be we've had some of these too. I remember one back in 2018 or 2019, maybe 2018, 2017, where it had things like this with double unders and wall balls and whatnot. And the scores were in the 6, 7, 800s. It was ridiculous.
Yep. Yeah. That's going to be this.
Yeah. So that's what this is going to be. So sustained effort. My strict handstand push-ups are different than yours. I know I'm going to break early. And in fact, I would rather go for broke a little bit more on the double unders because I know I'm going to need the time. My breaks are going to be more and more frequent than on the handstand push-ups than yours. So know yourself as the athlete and just keep moving. Easier said than done. Just keep moving.
I mean, just do that. Just keep moving. Yeah. That's all it is.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Rick, tell us about workout 3.
Workout 3, event 3, 4 time. This is a classic legend style. I'll call it that because it's ascending reps, not descending reps. Mentally, they play with you. 3, 6, 9, 12 reps of front squats and ring muscle ups. Time caps 15 minutes. The weights, most of the divisions, 16 to 54 years old, 125 for the ladies on the front squats, 185 for the men, and 55, 59s, 105 for the ladies, 155 for the men, and then a little bit more of a variation of chest to bar pull-ups and another step down in the 60 plus of 75 pounds for the ladies and 125 for the men. Yes. Ascending reps.
Super fun.
Yeah, I did this one. It is a nice challenge. And I will just tell you that I had a little bit of Fran cough, but each athlete's different. So
I mean, that's probably Rick, when you go sub 3, I mean, I didn't mean to share sub 3. Yeah. Sorry, I'll have to edit that out. Uh-huh. But
hey, we train a lot of muscle. We train a lot of muscle ups. So I saw 30 muscle ups, and I'm not. I was not afraid of this as maybe I was a few years ago. But the compounding effort of the front squats with the bar, limiting your breath, and then again some muscle fatigue. It adds up. It adds up quick.
It sure does. And it has that push-pull feel to it, right? Mm-hmm. So, we also noticed that this ascending rep scheme, there was at the Legends Championship in 2022, an ascending rep scheme with bar muscle ups and front squats at this weight. Mm-hmm. I believe the rep scheme was a little higher, maybe 5, 7, 9 or something like that. But it was a very fast workout and it got that heart going. And so this is more complex.
Were they 3-minute AMRAPs or something like that? Or
we had 3-minute time caps.
And a minute break and then 3 minutes again for a different one. Oh, yeah. Oh, boy.
I mean, we would have taken that to give us another score. That would have been great. We'll talk about that in a bit. Yes. But, this is one of those workouts. I mean, I really feel like that ascending rep scheme is interesting because we're doing 30 reps for time, really, of muscle ups and front squats. And I honestly think it would take longer if you told me to do 30 ring muscle ups and 30 front squats. It would take longer doing that than breaking it up into these chunks. But this is I actually saw Andrew Hiller do this workout on his Instagram. He went unbroken on everything. Oof. And he actually posted in his own comment, he said, "Spot the no rep." And if you watch, look, I'll say it out here. I don't care. I think he's talking about every one of his ring muscle ups because he is really good about slowing down the ring muscle ups to show if someone could hold themselves in the position of lockout.
Right.
And he was falling backwards in the lockout on every rep. I tried to screenshot it on my phone while I was watching it. I couldn't get the timing right, but I was like, no, they're not. They're just a little behind. So again, this is one of those things where if this video is reviewed, you want to make sure every single ring muscle up counts. Every single front squat counts. These are two movements where you can easily have muted hips on a front squat by not popping those hips and opening them up. So make that dramatically clear. Don't wear black shorts with a black background if at all possible. Have that camera angle correct. And be smart on those ring muscle ups. Make sure you show that lockout in a position where you are in a support, not falling back, and certainly not with bent arms. So those are simple. These are simple things, but just quick reminders.
I'll tell you what, I violated one rule already. I brought black shorts to the gym after work today, and I wasn't sure I was going to do this one. I thought I was going to do event 1. Turns out we did this one. So I had black shorts, but I watched my video and I know where my depth on front squats is. I'm not worried about that. But yes, I wore black shorts. But I'm glad you said this. Hey, what's the point of these things but crazy predictions? We're not going to get graded on it. I'm predicting that they'll review this one. I could be wrong, but I say that because they reviewed front squats for the elites last year in quarterfinals and they destroyed people. It was similar to the box step-ups this year.
Yes, I remember that.
People raced, not age groups, but the elites raced the front squats and did not stand up, and they hammered them. Go back and look at the penalties. So
I remember
you have very defined points of performance, as you just described, on this workout. It's not long. They're going to have a gajillion videos to review, max 15 minutes. I think they can watch this. I have a problem with them maybe reviewing the handstand push-up one because there's so many different angles and you've got to see the tape, and we know they didn't review it in quarterfinals either. And do you review event 1 with the row and a snatch? I guess you could, but that's a lot of video to watch of people rowing. I don't see what the sense is of that.
It seems like if they could scoot through those just to do, just to ensure that the camera can see that if they can scan for gross negligence, right? I don't know how they actually do this, but if they can scan for that, but you're right. I think this is one of those workouts where, boy, if you're trying to review, a certain amount of videos per age group, you've got a workout that, when you did it in under a minute and a half, like 90-second workout, you could get a lot of reviews on that.
Done.
But you're right. This is one of the faster workouts. This one and the final workout are both pretty fast. So reviewing one of these two, and there are faults to be found in both of these of these. So on the faster ones, I think that's somewhat logical to say, hey, they're probably not going to watch the 20-minute video start to finish, but they might watch event 3 because there could be significant separation in the field on these higher skill workouts like this one, right?
Correct.
Okay, fair enough. And disclaimer, one, you're forgiven. You've one strike. Can't take 2 strikes on the black shorts. Yeah. Or we'll be looking for another co-host. Send your email to Jason at mastersinmotion.com. Send your resumes in because Rick will probably break this rule again.
Because we're not done with semifinals, maybe one time we'll just play my effort of this long after semifinals in the background. And there can be the internet judges all over again. There we go. And you can see the reps clearly, though, below parallel. But we'll do that later.
Sounds good.
We're not going to do that now.
I'm not going to do it now. We don't have time for that now. No. And if there's a clock in the video, look, hey, it's semifinals. There is a cloak of secrecy, which is very, very fair. Okay.
Event 4.
Event 4. Event 4, we nicknamed this one the pain train.
Okay.
All aboard. This one's going to hurt depending on how deeply in the dark place you want to go. So to get to it, it's 30 cleans, power, squat, any kind of cleans you want, 30 toes to bar, 30 thrusters, 90 total reps. Women, 75 pounds, men, 115 for the thrusters. The younger and older divisions, 14, 15, 60 plus, you've got 75, 55 or 55 for women, 75 for men. Right. Okay. Really simple, really basic workout, 30 cleans. These power cleans are a buy-in. I think the cleans and the toes to bar are the buy-in for 30 thrusters. But Yeah, it's on simple on paper. 30 power cleans. You could touch and go. You could squat clean them. You could do singles if you want. Moving into toes to bar. It's 30, 30, 30. I'm not even going to talk about how simple the layout of this workout is.
Mm-hmm.
I think the areas where people can get in trouble from a judging perspective, we talked about this. Power cleans. If you're doing touch and go, you have to show clearly the elbows are through while your shoulders are extended over your hips, extended over straight legs and heels.
Look at the picture.
That is
just like you said.
Yeah, look at a picture. What an extension looks like.
Page 2. It's very clearly defined. Yep.
And on page 2, you could see those elbows that if they don't clearly pass the vertical plane of the bar, that's a no rep. And it's easy to do that, especially if you're going touch and go
fast.
or even fast singles. I've seen many fast singles where you get it to your shoulders and you bounce it off your shoulders before you've stood up all the way.
And
you want to be able to freeze
a quick
frame.
Workout, you're thinking, I got to race, I got to go.
I got to race.
You don't want to shortchange the movement. Right.
Nope. So while it may cost you a few seconds on the cleans to make them clear, that's better than no reps. That's 1. 2, toes to bar. Feet have to get behind, toes have to touch the bar. It's as simple as that. But they're going to get spicy. It's only half of the toes to bar reps that we saw in semifinals. But we've just done 30 cleans going into these, and these are the bridge between the cleans, blast your core into thrusters. So not a lot to say about toes to bar. For some people that are great at toes to bar, they'll just kill this thing. For those that struggle, we'll need to break it up, obviously. But really, what it's the pain zone, the painful part of this is 30 thrusters. How do you want to do it?
It's just for me, it's just outside that limit. Like if it were 21 thrusters, you'd be like, I know that feeling of 21. I'm just going to do it. 30 to me is just outside that. I know I'll be at a point where I'll probably drop. I'll break. I don't know where I'll break, but I'll break. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 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 Heck yeah.
Gosh.
At 115, again, we're talking about the men's weight.
That's the problem.
Which we can really, if it's 95, gosh, maybe you go 30, right? And just die. At 115, it's a wild card. At 135, it's absolutely not going unbroken.
It's a different workout. A completely different workout at 135.
But 115, you've got this, regardless of how you do it, you're going to be getting very, very uncomfortable. And when you get towards the end of those thrusters, you're going to want to die. And that's what this workout is. It's a short duration. This is a fast workout. It's got a 10-minute time cap. I think it's going to go a lot faster than, certainly faster than the time cap. I don't know. No one has done this yet. I have no idea what people's scores are going to be. But it will be one that will leave you in need of recovery for a couple of days. It's that time frame. It's that nature. It's got the barbell plus gymnastics plus a barbell again. It's just got that combination that will leave you probably laying on the floor as long as the workout took. So if you take 7 minutes to get through this workout and you really send it at the end, you're probably going to be on the floor for 7 minutes, which is awesome. And I just can't imagine I can't imagine doing this workout any other spot than last. Although I've heard lots of athletes mention they may do this earlier than last, but for me, this is I'm going to empty the tank and literally black out potentially.
Yeah.
This workout. That's how I say. I mean, I may get there and I may be just too nervous.
I've never. That's the problem is fighting those mental battles with yourself.
Yes.
And you say you want to go and your body has just other thoughts. So how do you hold on? I think we all as athletes struggle with that. Everyday CrossFitters, competitive CrossFitters, we've picked a sport where the faster you go, the more it hurts. This is different than playing tennis or golf or pickleball or softball league or something like that. It's just, hey, we chose this. It's going to hurt. So.
It's going to hurt. And that's the work. Those are the workouts. It's four scores, scores, 4 workouts, all the speculation of maybe 4 events, 5 scores, 4 events, 6 scores. Those are all out. It's 4 scores, 4 workouts over, a lot of days. Rick, initial thoughts. And again, guys, at this point, we're just talking opinion. What it is what it is. I think both of us would agree that the best athletes will make it to the games given these tests. These tests will bring the right people to the games.
Right. Correct.
I think. Now, we want to be able to share our opinions, be critical where we feel, Rick, where are you at on some of these? What were some of your thoughts?
First thought was, where are the other workouts? I was really surprised there were only 4. We'll ask that question down the road. But right now, I thought with the expanded window of time, what's the risk, or why didn't you go with more scores? Because this is maybe not an apples to apples comparison, but the elites have 6 workouts, right? In person over 3 days, 6 workouts. Granted, that's an in-person competition. It's vastly different, but they get 6 scores. I mean, where are our other workouts? That was the first impression.
Yeah,
I have more.
Yeah,
but I'll let you go.
I felt that too. And I'll say with that 4 scores, I see a lot of repeat movements, repeat time domains, things that have already been tested. In the sense that we've already had a 20-minute AMRAP with 50 double unders in it. We did that in the open, and we have another 20-minute AMRAP with 50 double unders here. We've already been tested on ring muscle ups in a fatigued state, and we're testing ring muscle ups again in a fatigued state. We've already done we did toes to bar in quarterfinals. We're doing toes to bar in semifinals. So a lot of crossover where there's areas like, how does this workout change if we do 30 cleans, 30 GHD sit-ups, and 30 thrusters? Again, the idea of keeping it really simple, maybe keeping a super clean, accessible workout is fun, maybe because it's a broader amount of people doing it. But we've done GHD sit-ups for the past 3 or 4, at least 3 qualifiers, and I think those are more challenging tests. So yeah, I saw a lot of. I mean, we did. Maybe we'll always do thrust, but I saw a lot of things that were repeated, and again, time domains that have been tested, which were just a little bit like, oh, okay, this feels a little bit repetitive. Again, I say all that. Next week, I could come back and just say, hey, man, I get it. These workouts were just mind-numbingly challenging, and they just knocked me on my ass. But those are some initial thoughts. Back to you.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know from any classic programmers listening, please correct me. I think you count event 4 as a chipper. It's 3 different movements and you move through it one time. Yep. Where was the classic? And I'm just, as you're speaking, I'm trying to think, we didn't have a classic longer chipper in either the open, quarterfinals, or semifinals now. The 60-40, 60-50, 40-30, 20-10, or in Legends fashions, 10-20, 30, 40, 50, 60. I mean, that would have been, we didn't see that. Again, I guess you could count event 4 as a chipper. What?
Well, you could have counted event. I mean, here in this, you're right. Event 3 in quarterfinals was chipper like in the toes to bar. Is it that's chipper like so?
Okay. I stand corrected.
It's been tested, but we don't see that here, right? And so I think that's fair. I was going to throw out some of the higher skill movements. Now, I mentioned the GHD. Where are the higher skill movements? And maybe that is when there's a restriction to 4 workouts, and we don't know where that restriction comes from. Maybe Bob and Joe send CrossFit 6 workouts, and CrossFit says, "Hey, we need to dial that back to 4 workouts." We don't know. We'll have Bob and Joe on the show, and we have a plan to do that possibly very soon. We're just working out schedules, but they'll tell us the story behind the workouts, which would be really fun. Not until it's all over, but they'll tell us the story afterwards. So maybe there was more high skill. There's the handstand walking, maybe walking lunges, legless rope climbs, GHD sit-ups, those things that we train that we want to be ready for the games. But maybe with only 4, there's crossovers. God, how many crossovers have we done to get ready for this?
Not a dumbbell in sight here. That was interesting too. Not a dumbbell.
Yep.
One thing I think the community is very thankful for: no shuttle runs. I mean,
it's fine.
Listen, we saw shuttle runs in every stage last year, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. That's and right.
Now we don't see them once. Isn't that interesting?
I'll take some. We've been practicing. I've been practicing, and I'm good at shuttle runs now. And I was terrible before. So, we don't have to go to these extremes. Like I know we were angry about them last year, but now
The pendulum
see them.
swung all the way to the other side. I know. Now the elites are getting a good test with their, was that 10 rounds of 800-meter run and 10 clean and jerks or whatever. I mean, they're going to be running, or how many? Oh, I forget the exact. Yeah, they're
I
going
don't
to
know
be
how
running.
many rounds it is. They're going to get running.
They're going to get running done.
Yeah.
So there's really no, and I still think this is a CrossFit thing until it'll probably be another few years until they introduce another machine. And I think they have to probably look at numbers and take surveys and see what is the penetration of rogue echo bikes or ski ergs, that kind of stuff, just to make something different than the rower. You can count on the rower every time, because if you're not going to include shuttle runs, well, double unders, yes, but you don't have many other monostructural avenues that are in there, I guess is the way to say it. So pull out the old rower. Here we go. We're going to see it all the time.
And the rower is a great tool. We know it's a great tool. It's a great test of fitness. It's got a lot of fairness to it. I think the concept to equipment is actually very good at measuring. And I think historically there have been some issues with the Echo Bike in competition with a calorie being a calorie. Like maybe I don't.
Well, the runners in Europe last year were way off.
Okay, the runners.
Yeah, remember? They were not calibrated.
I do remember. That's very tricky stuff. But I think we're far from having a runner in our qualifier workouts. Now, I mean, the other argument is this, Rick. The online qualifier is a way to get to the games. But we could always throw it out there. When CrossFit was running the Masters games, right, before they outsourced the running of it to Legends, they didn't have the bandwidth to hold in-person events. There's just no way they can do that for indie athletes, team athletes, and age group athletes. But now when they offload Masters athletes, does that create an opportunity in the future? Again, the runway is really long, and I think the team is committed to doing this the right way. Is there a long-term potential opportunity for there to be maybe an in-person possibility for qualifying to the Masters games, and maybe a last chance online qualifier
in Europe, something in North America?
Could be interesting.
Yeah. Wow. That logistically,
there's a team.
A lot. Yeah.
It's a lot, but the right team is out there. Bob and Joe and Jason. They care. They care a lot. I mean, when I get a message, after the workouts come out today, I get a message from Bobby. He says, "What do you think?" I mean, that is a guy that cares about this stuff. And I shared with him exactly what I just shared, this little opinion piece. And we said, we'd love to have you on the show. And he's like, yep, we would love to come on the show and talk about where all this came together. And again, when you have guys that are reaching out to the community to say, they're looking up for our feedback. They're always open. If we want to tell them our ideas for making the games great, they are all ears. So again, hey, Bob, Joe, if you're listening, we do appreciate you guys, Jason, and all the team at Legends. We appreciate all that you guys do and believe in the future there. And as far as these workouts go, we have feelings about them now, but once we're done with them and having completed all of them, we'll have additional thoughts. Of either success or like, I hate you, I'll never do that one again, kind of feelings. I don't know.
Yeah. So. We'll go back and retest some, but it's going to have to take a number of months before we ever try any of these, I think, again, outside of this window. We might be doing some retests too. That's the point.
Was going to ask you about that. There's the last thing I was going to say before we sign off, Rick. Is there any workout or any of these workouts that could be tested more than once? I know a lot of athletes that are trying to make sure no stone is left unturned, might retest them. Of these workouts, which ones do you think someone could actually retest?
1, 3, and 4. I say 1 in case you'll have until Saturday. It's Wednesday night.
Yep.
Say you did one today. I don't know. So a lot of the community probably did. If there's something goes wrong with the last bar and you just feel like you need another attempt, that's doable. I say 3 and 4. 4 only if you've heard numbers and maybe there was an execution error on your end or something happened and you have to do it again, it's going to hurt. 3, I could envision going 3 again, having just done it. Give me a couple of days.
It's possible.
It's possible. 2, the clock doesn't save you. Everybody's going to 20 minutes. It's a lot of reps. When your strict handstand push-ups go, they go. I think on a retest in 48 hours or something like that, or 24 hours, are you going to make that much more of a difference on strict handstand push-ups or something?
Right. Especially given those movements. If it was an execution error in the workout, that's one thing. But you're right. There may be, if you do 8 rounds of this or 6 rounds of this, you're looking at 60 strict handstand push-ups. I don't think we've had a qualifier that had more than 55 or so strict handstand push-ups in it. Historically, I don't think we've had more than that on the strict side, but that makes it a lot. We talk about guys that might get 10 rounds on this. Like I think that's few and far between, maybe some 30-year-olds. That's 100 strict handstand push-ups.
Not me. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, not me.
No,
guys,
okay.
We'll make this easy for you. Not happening over here.
That's okay.
Okay. You're right. I think that time frame would be hard to redo. And again, you would have had to have a major maybe on the first 3 rounds, you just trip a dozen times on the double unders, stop the clock, throw the towel, and say have a shake and do it again.
Yeah. I'll try. I'll try double unders a little bit better this time. Yeah.
If I trip on my first set of double unders, stop the clock, we got to redo the whole thing. I wonder. The question is, if you recorded, you're like, "Hey, I'm Jason Grubb, CrossFit semifinal, whatever, number 2, and you film all your stuff, you got your measurements, your heights, your strict handstand push-ups, 3, 2, 1, go, and you trip 3 times on your set of 50. Could you just say, hey, stop the clock, restart the clock, or do you start the whole video over again?
On the app, I think you have to restart it all over again because the app
I'm not using the app.
You're not using
I wouldn't use
app.
the app for this.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I in your case,
I think you'd stop the clock.
Yeah, stop the clock. Yeah. Show the clock at zeros again.
Yep.
Maybe just restate your name and say, here's this take 2. Beginning of this video shows all my weights, measurements, and distances. And here we go for the second one. Using the app, once you hit record, the camera's rolling. And then if you start, your timer's going, and we hit stop, there's no way to go back and reset the timer to 0 in the app that I'm aware of. So no good on that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So there's that question. I was going to say one last thing, one last tip. Okay. For those that find the heaviest snatch to be a problem, right? Mm-hmm. On event number 1, maybe you're trying to hit 225 for the first time as a 44-year-old. Okay. One of the things that I did in one of the qualifiers before, this is maybe 2 years ago, where I did hit 1 rep at 225 in a snatch ladder that we did. I did the snatches at the first weight. I did all the snatches at the second weight. The third weight was 225. And what I did, I actually loaded 205 on the bar, and I hit that snatch. Mm-hmm. I dropped it, and I showed I hit no rep. What I needed was I needed a bridge lift. So I did 185. That was the second weight of the snatch ladder. So I did 205, gave myself the no rep. Then I loaded 225, and then I hit 225
because the 40-pound jump was way too much for your CNS at that time. Yeah.
So if you can set up multiple barbells in this workout, I don't know if you can set up multiple barbells.
Yes,
we're just going to check the rules.
You can. Yes.
Multiple barbells.
You may receive assistance loading the bar, or you may set up multiple bars according to the page.
I mean, you double check this and be smart yourself. But if it was life or death for you to hit that heavy snatch, and it's just that jump is too much, you do 1 rep to hit it to bridge that gap. Clearly give yourself the no rep. Have the judge give you the no rep. Mm-hmm. Then load on the correct weight and then hit that weight if you feel that would be helpful. Of course, you're going to chew up a minute doing that. Mm-hmm. But for me, that's been something that was helpful for me. So there's a free tip for anyone listening this deep into the podcast that's struggling there. Otherwise,
that's
Rick,
a good wrap.
It's time for bed.
Yes,
time for bed. All right, my friend.
Good luck. Good luck to everybody out there. Yep. Have a good week.
We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Masters in Motion podcast. We'd be so grateful if you could take a moment to leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or your preferred podcast app. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us reach more listeners and grow our Masters community. Until next time, Get bolder, not older.